Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to badminton action and beyond. This week we spent some time with Ireland's #1 shuttler Scott Evans as he hopes to ride the wave of his success all the way to the top. And we're back in New Zealand to report on how the association is trying to develop genuine world beaters. As badminton strives to be a truly global sport, it is possible for talent to emerge from outside the usual power centres. Whilst it is true that the likes of China, Indonesia and Korea dominate in Asia, and Denmark and England hold sway in Europe, there are signs that others have the potential to, if not break the mould, at least ruffle a few feathers. One player who's hoping to do just that is Scott Evans. The 27-year-old from Ireland is in the form of his career, having broken into the top 25 in the world for the first time. He also helped his national side into its debut appearance at the European Mixed Teams Championships. It seems he's a man on a mission.
I don't think I'm very famous at all, but yeah, I try to do as much as I can with promoting the game in Ireland. So yeah, trying to do as much as I can to build a name and get more young people playing all the time.
Evans has always been in a rush, a bundle of energy in his youth. He was always interested in sports. Football, hockey and badminton were his favourites. But as he grew older, trying to fit them all in began to be a struggle. He had to pick one.
I was having to spend a lot more time in school, which I didn't like. And then my football team at that time was on the other side of the city from Dublin, so it was a lot of travel backwards and forth to my house. So when I first went to secondary school, I decided to stop playing football and then continued playing field hockey and badminton. And then when I got to third or fourth year, I made the decision then to just play badminton.
More interested in sports than studies, he focused on badminton and began to excel. But with little infrastructure to support his talent at the time, he made a bold decision. Still only 17 years old, he left Dublin for Denmark.
With the Danish league and a lot of the Danish the players at that time were the best in the world, and the Danish league is one of the best in the world, and it was quite easy for me to make the decision to go to Denmark. But then of course moving was a big step, stopping school, leaving my family and my friends and going there. But yeah, I think it was very hard the first year. You meet a lot of good people. I think in Denmark the people are fantastic, and you know, they always try to help. Well, I was lucky enough that they always tried to help me, and you know, with these people it was easier for me to move on and get better and better all the time.
After a period of adjustment, his move began to pay off. In 2007, he became the first Irishman to beat 3 players inside the World Top 25 at the Denmark Open qualifiers, before succumbing in the first round to Chinese superstar Lin Dan. He made history yet again a year later, as he became the first singles player from Ireland to compete at an Olympic Games. Although competing at the Beijing Summer Games was one of the highlights of his career, he says winning the title at the Irish Open in 2012 as the most memorable moment.
Of course, I'd been dreaming of Olympics, but I'd been dreaming of winning this Irish Open from when I was 5 years old. Then it was really something special, and because I had these 7 finals where I had lost all these 7 times in a row, it was kind of, it was a lot of emotions for me after the Irish Open. To make that my first title and to make it at home was really special. And I remember my mum, she was at the tournament as well, and when I won I turned to her and I just saw her, she was so happy for me.
The high was actually in the midst of a difficult period for the 7-time national champion, as he was seeking success in bigger tournaments. That dubious streak eventually came to an end in 2014, when he won his first international tournament at the Brazil Grand Prix. He followed that up with a runners-up finish at the Bitburger Open the same year.
I think I had a tough period between 2011 and 13. Was very tough for me and was not getting good results, and there was some times in those years where I maybe thought that, okay, can I get to the level again? Can I keep improving? And it was great tournament for me, and made me also realize that I can maybe still reach a level and maybe even go higher than I was before. And yeah, I've been working very hard in training and also outside of badminton to make sure that everything in my career is how it should be. And I think I've been doing the right things last year, and that's the reason why I've been getting some good results.
With 2015 well underway, the Irishman is raring to go again. And while titles define a player's career, Evans understands that personal recognition aside, there's a bigger responsibility for top players in the country.
Part of being say #1 in Ireland for men's singles is it's also to promote the game as much as possible. You see a lot of the other #1 players from around Europe and also from Asia, and they also do their part to promote the game. And maybe it's a little bit harder for me in Ireland when badminton's not such a big sport. So it's maybe harder to get the name out there and get it in the media as much as possible. But myself and Chloe and Badminton Ireland, we're doing everything we can to keep putting the name in there with results, and yeah, and try and get as many people playing as possible.
Scott Evans is a man of ambition and born with a fierce determination to succeed. With him, there is no better person to help Ireland plot its way to the top. In this week's trivia, we want you to name the doubles pair who clinched their first World Superseries title at the 2014 Denmark Open. The answer after the break. With the season in full swing, it's time to catch up with some of the movers and shakers in the BWF World Rankings. This week we shine a light on Spain's Carolina Marin. The current BWF Women's Singles World Champion has been busy proving to everyone that her triumph in Denmark was not a flash in the pan. Having ended the 2014 season in 8th, she has been making steady progress up the table this term. She was a finalist in the Syed Modi International Badminton Championships in Lucknow, coming up short against home favourite Saina Nehwal. The German Open brought her another runners-up finish a week later, this time at the hands of South Korean Song Ji-hyun. Despite not being at the very top of the podium for both, it did help her numbers as she began to climb the table. But it was the win at the Yonex All England Championships, her first, that took her into the top 5. The win over Saina Nehwal means she now stands at 4th in the rankings, her highest in her career. At just 21 years old, Marin will only get better. We look forward to watching her progress in 2015. You can find out more about the world's best. Just log on to www.bwfbadminton.org for the latest news and rankings. We're in Auckland when we get back to find out how Badminton New Zealand is restructuring to help develop future talent. Before the break, we asked you to name the doubles pair who clinched their first World Super Series title at the 2014 Denmark Open. The answer is Fu Haifeng and Zhang Nan. The Chinese duo, who only started their pairing in 2014, went up against Lee Yong-dae and Yu Yeon-song. Fu and Zhang beat Korea's #1 pairing in straight sets, 21-13, 25-23. The title was part of a clean sweep by China as they took home all 5 golds of the tournament. Last year, Badminton Unlimited brought you the tireless efforts of New Zealand badminton lovers' quest to promote and raise the profile of the sport in their country. We were back recently to take in the sights and sounds of the Oceania Championships. It is here that we met one of the nation's rising stars, Dylan Sojasa, as he shared with us his hopes and dreams of making it into international badminton. This week, our stay in the beautiful city of Auckland gave us an opportunity to find out about Badminton New Zealand's restructured development program.
We have a two-pronged high-performance program based on our junior and our senior players. We're really excited. 2014 has been a big year in building those programs. The junior program looks at the New Zealand under-15 and the New Zealand under-19 squads, and that's led by our national coach Peter Jensen. And then the other part really is around our senior players, so those players operating on the international circuit at the moment, playing in BWF tournaments around the world and making sure that we support them to be at their best at any situation.
New Zealand Badminton's 25 member associations across the region have always been the backbone of the country's talent development. But in an effort to standardise the quality of the high-performance programme and nurture the nation's new generation into world beaters, the national body had taken over the project. Top Danish coach Peter Jensen, who was brought in by Waikato Badminton Association, saw an expansion in his portfolio. Jensen was tasked with leading the high-performance team and liaising with the country's regional associations.
Peter also works with the Waikato Badminton Association, and they really led the way in terms of building a high-performance program at an association level, combined with our other associations like the Auckland Badminton Association, North Harbour Badminton Association. And really it's a partnership because we are a small country and we have limited resources.
In countries like New Zealand, where badminton is still playing catch-up to sports such as rugby and cricket, a career in the sport isn't usually the first option for shuttlers. Players plying their trade on the international circuits have to juggle work commitments and badminton if they want to continue with their passion. It is this lack of a clear career path that often leads to the best talents leaving the game. Badminton New Zealand hopes to quell these fears.
We started it now, trying to make this program mostly for the players to show them there is actually a pathway to be and become an international player as a senior. That's create the possibilities, and then hopefully we can get as many players into that program, buying into it, and actually you can see there is a way of going for the international badminton. That's the main target.
Be ready, go!
Through the high-performance camps conducted late last year, the best junior players were picked for the country's age group squads. Under the guardianship of Badminton New Zealand, these young prospects were given a roadmap to developing their skills. They were also encouraged to build up their experience through various local and international competitions.
I like working with Peter because he has a lot of experience, which also helps me on court and improves my game. And also with this experience and training, he can help me get to World Juniors.
We had a couple of camps already where they got some kind of knowledge in around being an athlete, and also that some of them actually came afterwards and say that if Badminton New Zealand haven't done this, making this high performance program with some goal, with some motivation, they've probably dropped out of badminton.
But the National Association is not just looking within, but is also trying to attract international players to its shores. Its bid for the Grand Prix Gold Tournament for the next 3 years has succeeded. The New Zealand Open is set for its GPG debut in late April. The event is scheduled just ahead of the Olympic qualification period and the BWF Sudirman Cup. It is hoped that the tournament's newly acquired status and its closeness to important tournaments will bring in top-quality shuttlers and thus much-needed experience for the country's players.
We're a little bit stretched on time. We only have 4 courts in the venue, but in negotiation with the BWF, we have a 64 men's singles and we have a 32 draw qualifying, because we want to keep that as big as we can, because we know that will be mostly New Zealanders. And they want to have the opportunity just to play qualifying, to be able to play in the stadium, because they don't get to play in a big stadium in a real big tournament at any other times. It does make it tougher for New Zealanders, but then the good thing is they can see what they need to aspire to.
No, I welcome the challenge. I mean, it motivates me seeing all these top players coming here to play, and it just boosts the recognition for the sport in New Zealand as well.
And our vision is to be standing on the podium and to have role models and champions at major world events. But that's going to be a long process. That's not an overnight sort of fix. So it's definitely 4-year planning, 8-year planning, 12-year planning cycles. But yeah, I mean, I think we're really confident now that we're starting to have the people and the places to take us there.
Hampered by geographical remoteness and diminished resources, New Zealand badminton has come a long way. It still has some distance to go before it can realistically challenge the elite nations, but there is a passion and discipline that bodes well for the future. Europe was a centre of badminton action once again last week as the Swiss Open 2015 got underway. The conclusion of the mixed doubles began the action on finals day, and it was an all-China affair as Liu Cheng and Bao Yixin took on compatriots Lu Kai and Huang Yaqiong. Third seeds Liu and Bao, semi-finalists in this same competition last year, were hoping for a triumphant end this time around. But they only got as far as winning the first game before Lu Kai stepped it up as they clinched the next two and a match. Final score 17-21, 22-20, 21-13. Out came the top two seeds for the men's singles final. Indian shuttler Kidambi Srikanth was up against defending champion Victor Axelsen. Already a defeated finalist at the recent Syed Modi International Badminton Championships, Srikanth was hoping to do one better for this one against Denmark's world number 6. Despite Axelsen's best efforts, Srikanth was not to be denied his first title for the year, winning it in 3 games, 21-15, 12-21, 21-14. Thai shuttler Busanan Ongbungrungpan faced China's Sun Yu next in the women's singles final. With her last title in 2013, it was Ongbungrungpan's chance to break her dry spell, but in Sun, the Southeast Asian faced an opponent who had beaten her in all 4 previous encounters. And after 42 minutes, the Chinese world number 15 claimed her 5th consecutive victory over the Thai, 21-16, 21-12 the final score. The women's doubles final was between Japanese duo Ayane Kurihara and Naru Shinoya against newly crowned All England champions Bao Yixin and Tang Yuanting. Fresh from their victory in the UK the week before, Bao and Tang kept up their winning ways, grabbing their 2nd successive triumph in 3 games. Final score 21-6, 17-21, 21-17. So that left the men's doubles final to conclude the day's action. Chinese duo Chai Yun and Lu Kai were hoping to open their 2015 title account against Malaysians Goh Wee Shem and Tan Wee Kiong. Gold medalists at last year's Commonwealth Games, Goh and Tan were also a pair aiming to enhance their credentials in the format. But on the day when it mattered the most, it was Chai and Lu who would emerge victorious. After 3 games and just over the hour mark, the match ended 21-19, 14-21, 21-17, wrapping up another successful edition of the Swiss Open. After the break, we talked to Belgian top shuttlers and siblings Yuhan and Lien Tan about juggling studies and badminton. This week's Players of the Week are China's women's doubles players, Bao Yixin and Tang Yuanting. After capturing the prestigious All England title, the Chinese shuttlers went on to clinch last week's Swiss Open against Japan's Ayane Kurihara and Naru Shinoya. The new partnership, which is still ranked outside of the world top 100, is set to be one of the standouts in the year ahead. We're in Belgium for our final segment. It's common for siblings to share a passion, but it's rare to find them excelling in their respective fields. Belgium is in possession of such a unique combination. meet Johan and Lien Tan. He's the most successful player in the country, with a record of 8 titles at the Belgian National Championships. She's the winner of the Women's Singles National Championships for the past 6 years. Although they are flying the flag for the country of their birth, the Tan siblings' introduction to the game had a distinctly Southeast Asian tint.
My father, he has an Indonesian background, and my mother is Belgian, but as we all know, in Indonesia, badminton is massively popular. And yeah, he brought his passion for badminton, he brought it to us, and we started playing in the backyard, I guess during a summer holiday or something like that.
The involvement with badminton at such a young age provided the duo with the edge to dominate the sport back home.
If you look at Belgium, I think we had the advantage that we had a good basis of training when we were young. We started pretty early, like 7, 8 years old. That's quite young in Belgium to start badminton. And we had also many summers where we spent our summer holidays training in Indonesia, and we had some good technical trainings there, which I think was a big advantage for us when we came back to Belgium.
The Tans shot to global prominence in 2012 by successfully qualifying for the London Olympics. It was the first time Belgium had been represented in badminton since 2000, when Ruud Kuyten made it to Sydney.
First of all, of course, a great experience as an athlete to be there. From the matches, from the Olympic experience, I think we learned how to deal with pressure, with media attention as well, because this was the first time we, as a badminton player in Belgium, had so much media attention. So that was hard to get used to. But I guess we are a bit more used to that now. And I also think it was an invaluable experience for the next Olympics, to be more ready and to know more what to expect, and hopefully to perform better as well. And I think London was a great, had a great value in that perspective.
Since the high of London 2012, badminton has had to vie for the attention of the siblings as they have focused on their education.
After the Olympics, I started my studies, so I'm in the 3rd year of dentistry now. And it's not always easy to combine the two, because I'm having a lot of hours in school, and I'm trying to practice as much as possible. But of course, it's not always easy. But I'm trying my best.
Yeah, many people think it is a difficult combination, and I agree to them in some aspect that it's hard to reach the top level if you combine studies with sports, because badminton is such a tough sport. But I think at the level I'm at the moment, I'm reaching my maximum in badminton if you combine it with studies. And it's all about being a bit flexible.
Johan is currently a medical student in the Netherlands, and while books have been the siblings' main concern in recent times, the chance for a second appearance at the Olympics beckons. The qualification process for the 2016 edition in Rio de Janeiro starts from May the 4th. For the Belgian duo, it's just the start of another balancing act.
Before London, the priority was the badminton. After London, the first 2-3 years, the priority were my studies. But at the moment, I'm still like a bit hesitating. I really want to go for Rio, so I will try that for sure. But I also my studies also need enough attention, that's for sure.
I guess we have to spend more time on badminton if you want to qualify for the Olympics, because it's a big competition and there are limited spots. So now I guess we have to find a good training facilities, training opponents, but also more play more tournaments, travel more to tournaments to get points. So it will be difficult for the studies, but that's how it has to be.
Achieving results at the highest level often involves sacrifice. Johan and Lien Tan certainly have the talent, and if they make it to Rio, it might just yet be their finest hour for Belgium. Let's find out what's happening on the international circuit in our Badminton Unlimited calendar. Next week on Badminton Unlimited, we catch up with Denmark's rising star challenging the best in the world, Victor Axelsen. See you next week.